Hello everyone, this is Dave. Great day today. Thank you as always for joining me. Today we're talking about the big news from Rocket Lab, which is that finally, the SDA Tranche 3 Tracking Layer Awards have been announced, and as I was expecting for months and months now and going on about, Rocket Lab was successful and landed the biggest contract in the history of the company, and it's really a game changer when it comes to the company and the stock. We're going to talk about all that right now. Before we dive into that, please do consider hitting that subscribe button if you haven't already. And thank you, as always, to the current subscribers and channel members. By the way, if you're curious, no, my daughter has not arrived yet. We are now 3 days late. She isn't even born yet, and she's already trying her poor father's patience. So we'll see how this goes in the future. But anyway, yeah, hoping for it to happen any day now. Figured might as well make a video while I'm waiting. Okay, let's dive into Rocket Lab's big contract. So this was the announcement from the Space Development Agency. It came out earlier in the day, around like 9 or 10 o'clock, I think it was. People started spotting this article, although the official confirmation on Rocket Lab's investor relations webpage and some other outlets was not until a bit later in the day. So I did take advantage of that and make a little trade, but more on that later. First, about this contract. So why it's so exciting. Rocket Lab is being awarded a firm fixed price OTA agreement with a total potential value of $805 million. You might be aware the previously largest contract Rocket Lab received, also from the SDA, was for about $500 to $515 million, making this by far and away the largest contract in the history of the company, and extremely important to the company's total backlog and the future. We'll go into that a little bit later. First of all, a few details around this. Well, this is basically, if you remember that previous constellation they're currently working on for transport layer satellites, those are basically communications satellites for the same constellation. These are tracking layer satellites, which means they are for tracking missiles and defense and stuff like that. So these ones are higher value than the tracking layer satellites, coming in at something like $45 million per satellite, roughly. Interestingly enough, so there's two different types in this. There is what the SDA calls MW/MT, which has the missile warning / missile tracking IR sensors. And there's also MWTD. MWTD was higher value, providing the tracking and defense, whereas these ones didn't. So I guess some companies thought they could provide it all in one satellite bus and others didn't. So when you look at the value here, the interesting thing is you look at Lockheed Martin receiving $1.1 billion to build the MWTD vehicles. Rocket Lab only $805 million to build the same number of MWTD vehicles. So Rocket Lab providing outstanding value to the agency here, and you shouldn't be confused when you see that Northrop Grumman is coming in even lower than Rocket Lab at $764 million. Thinking that Northrop is like undercutting Rocket Lab and providing a better deal to the government. They're actually not, because they're not providing the same amount of capability as the MWTD. They're only doing the MWMT vehicles. So really, Rocket Lab providing outstanding value. And the direct comparison would be to Lockheed Martin at $1.1 billion. So like $300 million cheaper. And I mean, you like to see it in that the Rocket Lab thinks they can do it for cheap and they're providing great value. At the same time, as a shareholder, you're kind of like, darn, could they have maybe gotten a couple extra $100 million in this contract? But I'm really just glad they landed it either way, and I have no doubt of in their capacity to build these things out and their efficiency. You may recall they made a couple savvy acquisitions, and One part of those acquisitions was that they would help out so much with building out this constellation and providing the payload of the satellite. So they bought Geost, and their acquisition for Mynaric with the optical laser terminals is still pending, and Geost has a lot of the sensors for the tracking on these satellites. So really just a great contract for Rocket Lab. Very excited by it. When you go over to Rocket Lab's official press release on their website, they provide a few more details. So saying the award is that $806 million base, plus there is a $10.5 million in options as well. Will feature their next gen Phoenix infrared sensor payload. I have to imagine this is from Geost. That acquisition is now closed. A wide field of view solution. Now, interestingly enough, though, they're selling this to other winners. So it didn't say exactly who, whether they're selling some of these components to Lockheed or Northrop or L3 Harris, but they're kind of double dipping here because they're selling some of those components to other winners and potentially leading to a value for Rocket Lab, value captured of approximately $1 billion. Supplying items such as payloads, solar solutions, attitude, determination, and control components. Sorry about that. Software and other solutions to the other winners with that double dipping. So not just the prime award of 18 satellites for them, although that's really the big one, also selling components. Now, do keep in mind, I think they said they expect the gross margin for these prime contracts to come in at like 35%, which is a little bit lower than, say, launch or some of the individual components. So we'll have to keep that in mind as we update our spreadsheets and models. The stock was absolutely loving this, by the way. Slide here. If you check out the stock on the day, we were up 17.69%, and even in the after hours, up more at about 5%. So I believe that's a new all-time high, although someone can check me on that. I got a little trouble on Twitter today saying we'd hit a new all-time high when apparently we hadn't. I guess I got a little excited. Certainly looks like an all-time high when you zoom out on the chart, though, but I guess that's just it's charting the close and perhaps not the intraday, so maybe that has something to do with it. But anyway, great time for the stock, great time for the shareholders. Congratulations if you're a shareholder. I personally have been so confident they were going to win this because they've done so many things, bringing in those acquisitions. We'd seen SDA tweeting about Rocket Lab previously. And Rocket Lab is in very storied and rich company right now. Like, these are the big boys of the space primes plus Rocket Lab. And I think they're kind of like, to my eyes, like taking their new place as one of the big primes of space. Like, you're talking Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and L3 Harris. Like, these are three of the biggest space companies in the world, and then Rocket Lab right in there with them. And that's a trend I only expect to continue. So very exciting stuff from Rocket Lab, and really glad that they were successful in this competition. So stock looking great on the day. Think this is really great for the overall company. And I did kind of update what I think the backlog is roughly going to look like. And I've been talking about this for a while, how it's been flat for so long, and it's kind of been bugging me because I've been waiting for this SDA contract to drop, and it got delayed because of the government shutdown. But it's almost a double from where we were previously. In Q2, we dropped just barely under that 1 billion mark. It was like 900 and I think it like 90 or something million. And then we went up to about 1.1 something. And with this award, I think like roughly 2 billion, maybe just under, but it's like the next step up. So if you remember the previous jump, which is right here from Q3 23 to Q4 23, that was the last SDA contract, and they kind of maintained that level, and now we have the next jump up. Hopefully they maintain this level, and then, you get a next jump up in the future. So pretty exciting. And remember, this SDA jump up here for Tranche 2 transport, Sounds like that's going to be back being rebid by the SDA. So you never know. Maybe Rocket Lab thinks they can do that too and expand their manufacturing of their Lightning satellite bus. And they're already building out one generation. So why not the next generation of transport layer satellites as well? That'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But talking about what I did on the day. Oh, and if you're curious, I just highlighted here from the 10Q, the most recent earnings call, the total backlog at that point at the end of Q3 was $1.095 billion. And yeah, so very exciting stuff. So what I did today is I saw this news. I think the stock was up like 6%. And by the way, I was really frustrated because I'd been buying call options previously and I just sold out of them due to a recent downward move, but did very well. Anyway, for today, what I did is I bought a bunch of call options early in the morning when I saw the news. No one seemed to be really covering yet. Rocket Lab hadn't released anything on their own webpage. SDA had released the news on their webpage, but I wasn't seeing it on any major news outlets. And I thought, I think the stock's going to go higher when everyone really starts talking about this news and realizes just how big it is. So I started buying around 10:14 here, 10:14, 10:15, 10:19, 10:21 I bought. Ended up buying just under $11,000 worth. We got towards the end of the day. Indeed, the stock did run up to like $69 or $70, and I was sitting at almost a double, not quite, but almost a double. And I figured, you know what, 2 p.m., I've had an almost a double in a single day. I'm going to take off a good amount, pretty much almost what I put in, not quite, but so kind of removing my risk. You know, if you get a double in a single day, you should probably be pretty happy with that, and there's nothing wrong with taking that off the table. So I did sell 9,250. I bought 10,900. That means the outstanding, I guess, outlays for my account are like 1,700-ish. But the value of the calls still outstanding on the market. And keep in mind, this is still going up in the after hours. We'll have to see what happens when we open on Monday. But the value outstanding here, current market value, is 12,500. So let's say, never count your chickens before they hatch. Maybe we could have a big collapse on Monday and I don't get to unload these. But unless I unload them for almost nothing, I will definitely not come out behind on this trade. I'll get pretty much a double in basically 1 day or 2 days, which is quite good, and quite happy with that. And that should kind of be the last short-term trade I'm doing for a while, at least on Rocket Lab. I've been eyeing this contract announcement for quite a while, always thinking that it would be a backstop when it does hit. The stock would move big, so I'd always have that to look forward to, and I've done very well. I think over the past 3-4 months, I've probably made something like $60,000 off of short-term Rocket Lab trades. But now I think I'm done. I'm just going to be going back to my usual mode of holding long. I'll use some of those profits to pay the tax man next year, maybe diversify my portfolio a little bit. Maybe if we get a crash in Rocket Lab, I'll add some more shares as well. But I do just like having a bit more of a cash cushion and dry powder in my account should I see more opportunity out there. Let me know if you guys have made any trades lately, how you're feeling about your portfolio. And by the way, of course, my underlying shares are now pretty much at all-time highs, and therefore, since it's like almost half my portfolio, my overall portfolio is pretty much at all-time highs as well. So I'm feeling quite good about things. The only thing I'm missing right now is the baby. Hopefully it'll come soon. That is today's big news. And one other item that is unrelated, but I thought was just hilarious. Friend of the channel, Matt Money, was streaming yesterday talking about investing, and somehow his live stream ended up on the White House's website. He had no idea how it happened. I saw this picture. I'm like, okay, someone photoshopped this. This can't be real. If you might know Matt Money from our Rocket Lab weekly live streams. It showed up on the White House website, and it is absolutely real. And everyone is just so confused. I guess someone who works on their website is a fan of Matt because he has no idea how it happened, and he's not like a hacker or anything. But yeah, I just find it pretty hilarious, to be honest. And yeah, funny stuff. So that is the big news of the day. Let me know what you think about this contract. Were you as confident as I was that Rocket Lab was going to land it? Did you not even know it was on the horizon or something that they were bidding on? Always interested to hear. And what do you think the future holds for the company? What are you doing with your shares? Are you taking some gains as we hit new highs? Always love to keep the conversation going down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you're new here, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. It's very appreciated. I did have a goal at the start of the year of hitting 20,000 subscribers. I didn't quite make it. We're sitting at 18,000 now, which is still a nice milestone. So I'm not going to complain, but definitely appreciate everyone who clicks subscribe. Hope you guys have a great day. Hopefully the next time I make a video, I will have a baby born. I said that last video and it still hasn't happened yet. But yeah, hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you soon for the next one. Bye for now.